Has Sean Combs, better known to the world as Diddy, really been released early? And if so, why is everyone so upset about it? That's the question dominating headlines, social media debates, and celebrity news cycles right now. Over the past year, Diddy's legal troubles have unfolded publicly in a way that's been intense, complicated, and highly emotional. Allegations, investigations, lawsuits, and court proceedings have kept his name trending for months. So when reports surfaced suggesting he received some form of early release, it immediately sparked outrage. But what's actually going on? First, it's important to separate rumor from reality. In high-profile legal cases, especially involving celebrities, information spreads fast, and not all of it is accurate. The phrase early release can mean different things depending on the legal context. It doesn't always mean someone walked free without consequence. Sometimes it refers to bail, bond, house arrest, sentence reductions for good behavior, or technical legal adjustments. That nuance matters. In Diddy's case, much of the public frustration stems from perception. Many people feel that because he has faced serious allegations, any form of release, whether temporary or technical, feels premature. For critics, it creates the impression that someone wealthy and powerful is being treated differently than an average person would be. And perception is powerful. Over the years, Diddy has built an empire. He's not just an artist, he's a businessman, producer, and cultural figure. His influence stretches across music, fashion, and entertainment. That level of status automatically intensifies scrutiny. When someone that prominent faces legal trouble, the public reaction tends to be amplified. The backlash we're seeing isn't just about one legal decision. It taps into broader concerns about justice and accountability. Many people believe the legal system often favors those with money, resources, and elite legal teams. So when news breaks about a possible early release, it reinforces fears that fame equals privilege. Another factor fueling the anger is the seriousness of the accusations tied to Diddy's name. Allegations involving misconduct, coercion, or abuse create strong emotional responses. Even when investigations are ongoing and court processes haven't fully concluded, the public often forms opinions quickly. In situations like this, legal timelines can feel slow. Court proceedings take months, sometimes years. Appeals hearings and evidentiary reviews don't happen overnight. When a person involved in such a case is seen outside of a jail cell, even if legally allowed, it can feel jarring to those expecting immediate consequences. There's also confusion around what release actually means in this context. Some reports suggest it may involve bail or pretrial release rather than a completed sentence. Others point to technical adjustments, such as supervised conditions or restricted movement. Without clear communication, speculation fills the gaps. And speculation spreads fast. Social media has played a massive role in amplifying outrage. Platforms light up with posts demanding accountability. Comment sections fill with frustration. Hashtags trend within hours. In many cases, the online reaction becomes louder than the official court updates themselves. But it's important to remember that legal systems operate based on process, not public emotion. Bail, for example, is not a declaration of innocence or guilt. It's a constitutional right in many cases, designed to ensure someone returns to court while awaiting further proceedings. House arrest or monitored release can still involve strict restrictions. Sentence reductions for good behavior are standard practice in many correctional systems. That doesn't mean people have to agree with it, but it does mean there's often more legal structure behind a decision than what a headline suggests. For critics, though, the anger isn't only about legality, it's about symbolism. When a powerful figure appears to receive leniency, it sends a message, whether intended or not, about whose freedom is prioritized. Some advocates argue that high-profile cases like this expose deeper systemic inequalities. They question whether the same opportunities for bail, rehabilitation credits, or legal maneuvering would be available to someone without financial resources. That's where the broader conversation begins. The controversy also highlights how emotionally charged allegations can shape public opinion long before courts issue final rulings. In the age of instant news, reputations can shift rapidly. Public trials often begin on social media well before official court dates. For Diddy's supporters, however, there's a different narrative. They argue that everyone deserves due process. That being accused does not equal being convicted. That legal rights exist for a reason, regardless of fame. And that tension between due process and public accountability is at the center of the debate. Another reason people are upset is the ongoing nature of investigations tied to Diddy's past. When multiple inquiries are still active, any movement toward release can feel incomplete. Critics worry it could interfere with investigations or discourage other potential witnesses from coming forward. Whether those concerns are legally valid depends on the specifics of the case. Courts typically impose conditions designed to prevent interference. But emotionally, the optics can still feel unsettling. Headlines have only intensified the controversy. News outlets frame updates in dramatic language. Words like shock release, unexpected freedom, or early exit grab attention. But those phrases can blur the line between technical release and full exoneration. The public reaction has been loud. Celebrities have weighed in. Commentators have debated the fairness of the decision. Advocacy groups have expressed concern. Across platforms, one phrase keeps resurfacing: justice hasn't been served. That statement reflects a feeling, not necessarily a legal conclusion. Justice, legally speaking, follows a structured path: charges, hearings, evidence, verdicts, sentencing, appeals. Public emotion, on the other hand, moves much faster. In high-profile cases, those two timelines rarely align. There's also a cultural component at play. Over the past several years, public awareness around misconduct and abuse allegations has grown significantly. Many people are less willing to overlook accusations involving powerful men. There's heightened sensitivity around accountability. So when someone like Diddy appears to benefit from procedural flexibility, it strikes a nerve. At the same time, legal experts often remind audiences that early release mechanisms are built into the system for many defendants, not just celebrities. Good behavior credits, rehabilitation programs, and bail statutes exist as part of broader criminal justice policy. The key question becomes whether those policies are being applied fairly and consistently. That's what fuels much of the outrage, the suspicion that they're not. Public frustration also stems from a history of celebrity scandals where consequences seemed uneven. Over time, that pattern creates skepticism. People begin to expect preferential treatment, even before all facts are known. It's worth noting that an early release, if confirmed, does not necessarily end legal jeopardy. Appeals can continue. Civil lawsuits can proceed. Additional charges can be filed if evidence supports them. Release from custody doesn't erase accountability mechanisms. But perception often outweighs nuance in viral conversations. For many observers, this situation is less about Diddy as an individual and more about what he represents: wealth, power, and influence. When those traits intersect with legal trouble, it becomes a lightning rod for debates about fairness. There's also a human element. Allegations of harm create empathy for alleged victims. People want to see justice served on their behalf. When legal developments feel lenient, it can feel like dismissal of that harm. That emotional response is understandable. At the same time, legal systems are designed to operate independently of public sentiment. Judges weigh evidence. Attorneys argue motions. Procedures follow established statutes. Those processes don't always satisfy collective emotion. So did Diddy really get an early release? Reports suggest there has been some form of adjusted custody status, but the exact nature matters. It may involve bail, supervision, or sentence modification rather than complete freedom. Without official documentation, details can be misinterpreted. Why is everyone so mad about it? Because many people feel accountability should be unmistakable. Because high-profile cases carry symbolic weight. Because public trust in the justice system is fragile. And because allegations tied to this case are serious enough to evoke strong reactions. The debate isn't going away anytime soon. As investigations continue and legal proceedings unfold, new developments will likely shape public opinion further. Until then, conversations will remain heated. Some will argue that due process must be respected at all costs. Others will insist that wealth and influence distort that very process. In moments like this, one thing becomes clear: celebrity justice cases are never just about one person. They become mirrors reflecting broader societal concerns. And that's why this story isn't just trending, it's provoking a deeper conversation about fairness, power, and accountability in today's world. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.